you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, if you have pecuniary interest, you can disclose that now or as our meeting goes along. We have 21 items on our consent agenda. Is there any item anyone would like pulled or they have any questions on? Seeing none, then we have a motion that items 5.1.1 to 5.1.21 as set out on the consent agenda for the May 5th, 2026 regular meeting of council be received for information and that the minutes of April 21st, 2026 regular meeting of council be adopted. Moved by Jerry, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Okay, under presentations, we have no public presentations. We have no other presentations. We have no delegations. We have no public meetings, but we do have one public hearing. So council will now temporarily adjourn to sit as Committee of Adjustment pursuant to Section 45 of the Planning Act. I now declare this public hearing open. This public hearing is being held to consider an application affecting property currently owned by Jeffrey and Suzanne Beeler and described as Concession 6, Part Lot 20, RP 44R 4729, Part 2, Ellis Ward, which is 4791, line 42. The purpose of this hearing is to give the committee and the public an opportunity to hear all interested persons with respect to the proposed application and receive their input, and for the committee to make a decision on the application. All persons attending this hearing will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. Committee members may ask questions for the purposes of clarifying the application, but are asked to withhold comments on this application until all present have been given an opportunity to be heard. Any person who wishes to receive written notice of a decision made by the Committee of Adjustment is asked to email their name and mailing address to the Secretary Treasurer at this time. An appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal objecting to the decision made at this hearing may be e-filed via the OLT e-file service by the applicant, the municipality, the ministry, or prescribed utility provider with the Secretary Treasurer no later than the date stated on the notice. No written notice, except as previously noted, will be given unless requested at this time. I now will call on our planner, Aubrey, to present the planning report and recommendations. So welcome, Aubrey. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Mayor Agats.
And the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The minor variance application MV3-2026 was submitted by Suzanne and Jeffrey Beeler for the property at 4791 line 42. The applicant requires relief from the Perth East zoning bylaw to build a garage. The lands are currently occupied with a single detached dwelling, pool house, and in-ground pool. The official plan designation is village. The village designation permits low-density forms of residential development and limits the expansion within villages to focus growth within settlement areas. Proposed development within village designations should complement the general form and density of the existing neighborhood. The subject lands are zoned site-specific Hamlet Village Residential 15 in the Township of Perth East zoning bylaw. The HVR zoning permits residential uses and structures accessory to residential uses. The proposed minor variance is for a garage, which is a structure accessory to residential use. The garage is proposed to be located directly off the existing laneway in close proximity to the existing residential dwelling, while leaving appropriate space for the maintenance of the existing septic system. The development as proposed is appropriate to and complementary of the surrounding residential uses, thereby meeting the intent of the official plan. The increase to the accessory structure height is suitable to the proposed use and location, maintaining space to provide appropriate grading and drainage. The site-specific provisions for the westerly and rear side yards are greater than the requirements of the HVR zone setbacks, and the proposal is not anticipated to impact surrounding development. The requested relief from zoning bylaw provisions are minor in nature and are considered to be appropriate for the development of the land. Public notice was provided on April 24th, and one comment was received from a neighboring property owner in support of the application. The application for minor variance conforms with the official plan policies and maintains the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. The variance requested is minor in nature and is desirable use of the land. As a result, approval of the variance is recommended. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? Seeing no one, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or the applicant's agent? Seeing no one, does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to address or wish to make a presentation or speak with respect to the application? And Mr. Bueller is joining us on screen tonight.
No, I'm good with everything.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from committee members? No questions. The committee will now consider a motion regarding the application. The motion that we have is that the Township of Perth East Committee of Adjustment approve application file MV 3-2026 submitted by Suzanne and Jeffrey Bueller for lands described as Part Lot 20, Concession 6, 44R 4729, Part 2, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East, municipally known as 4791, Line 42, as it relates to number 1, relief from section 9.4.15 to reduce the minimum westerly interior side yard width from 18 meters to 10 meters. Number 2, relief from section 9.4.15, number D, to reduce the minimum required rear yard depth from 30 meters to 15 meters. And number 3, relief from section 5.1.3 to increase the maximum height for an accessory structure height from 5 meters to 7 meters to facilitate the construction of a 70-meter square detached garage subject to the following conditions. The first condition, that the owner obtains the necessary building permit within 2 years of the approval of the minor variance. And the second one is that the owner shall prepare an overall grading plan and stormwater management design/plan for the proposed accessory structure to the satisfaction of the Perth East Building Department. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Jerry, second by Hugh. All those in favor? Carried. I declare this public hearing closed. Okay, thanks, Aubrey. Now we'll move to reports, and the first report on our agenda is under planning. We have a consent application by Jeff Beesman for Van Harten survey, and I believe Jeff is going to do that. Jeff, welcome.
Thank you.
And the floor is yours.
The property is located on the east side of Cobalt Street North between the former CPR lands and Mill Street East, legally described as Part Lot 88, Part Lot 8, Concession 4 of Plan 363. The lands are designated as agriculture and neighborhood, and the lands to be severed are located within the service settlement area of Milverton. The lands to be retained will continue to be used for agricultural production, and they will remain outside of the settlement area boundary. Servicing will need to be extended to the lands to be severed prior to any further planning approval on the lands, and servicing capacity needs to be confirmed. A holding provision should be placed on the lands to be severed if servicing capacity has not been confirmed. The lands to be severed will result in a lot that is of suitable size for development within the settlement area boundary. A future plan of subdivision and zone change application are both required prior to developing those lands that are zoned as future development. The lands to be retained can be accessed from Cobalt Street North, and a condition has been included to ensure that the driveway access has been provided. The retained lands are intended to remain in agricultural production and are approximately 23 hectares in size. Consent application would create an undersized farm property and would require rezoning of those retained lands to recognize the parcel size. Although the official plan discourages the severance of original farm units, the subject lands are split by a settlement area boundary, and the neighborhood designation is not intended to be utilized for agricultural production. Lands to be severed are located in the neighborhood designation and subject to severance requirements within settlement areas. Severance of the subject lands results in a creation of a new lot within the settlement area boundary and the retention of farm property that will continue to be used for agricultural production, be of similar size and that is large enough to support the typical farming operations in the county of Perth. Planning staff are supportive of the proposed severance, subject to the recommended conditions of consent approval being fulfilled. and I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Questions of the report? Jerry?
Thanks through you, Mayor. So, Jeff, is it anywhere in the report an estimate of how many potential lots this is gonna have support? Pretty preliminary, but yes.
Through the mayor, we don't have a development proposal yet for the lot to be severed, so we don't know how many lots are going to be supported by that land, on those lands to be severed. Our main concern is servicing capacity, so that will need to be looked at in order to determine exactly how many lots they may be able to place on those lands. Or if it's dealt with in the future, then once services is in place, then they might be able to get additional lot.
Okay, thanks. We do have the applicant on the line with us. Maybe he could, do you wish to comment on that question?
This is Jeff Beesman from Van Herten Surveying. We do not know how many units will be built on the severed parcel. We're really acting on behalf of the vendor of the land, and the eventual owner developer will come up with a plan. And as indicated, it will be dependent on the services that are available.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from anyone? If not, we have a motion that reads that. Pardon? Jeff, do you have any other comments that you wish to make?
I'm happy to answer any questions. Probably the one little thing, a little detail, and it may be obvious to everybody in the room, but just want to mention that the farmland, the current owner owns the lands on the other side of the G2G trail, and they have a driveway across the trail, and that's how they access the farmland today, and that's how it will continue to be accessed in the future in terms of function. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions or comments that council may have.
Okay, thank you. I don't believe there are any questions. No, okay, then we have a motion that the Township of Percy's Council advise the Land Division Committee or its delegated authority that the Township of Percy supports application file B04-26 submitted by Jeff Beesman of Van Herten Surveying, Inc. for lands described as Part Lot 88, Part Lot 8, Concession 4, Regular Plan 363, Milverton Ward, Township of Perth East, Cobalt Street North, subject to the following conditions. And the first conditions, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are just for Perth East. I'll give you kind of the short form of them. So the letters provided by the clerk for the township advising the secretary treasurer, the land division committee, that all the requirements for the township financial services and otherwise have been compiled with. The second, that the owner provide cash in lieu of parkland. The third, confirmation be received from the township that the apportionment schedule for municipal drains in the area are reviewed and updated. The fourth one, that confirmation be received from the township that severed and retained lots have each been assigned separate municipal addresses and signs. The next one, confirmation be received that the road access to the severed and retained parcels are to the township's satisfaction. And the last one is confirmation be received that the subject lands have been appropriately rezoned. And then the county's conditions, there's two of them. That confirmation be received from a solicitor that the certificate of the official be scanned and attached to the electronic registration of the transfer. And the second one is that the Land Division Committee be provided with a description that is consistent with the application and equal to that required for registration of the deed of the transfer. And then if it has been determined that the subject property is a whole lot of an original township plan of survey and an exemption order cannot be provided by a land registrar, satisfactory proof of same shall be provided by a solicitor with confirmation stating the reason why an exemption order cannot be provided. Okay, we have a mover and a seconder for all that. Moved by Bob, second by Hugh. Any more questions? All in favor? Okay. Okay. Moving on to reports, we have nothing from the CAO, nothing from the clerk, nothing from finance, nothing from Public Works, nothing from Building Enforcement and Bylaw. Parks and Recreation, we have two reports. The first one is temporary shelter for Hillside Manor, and Ashley's going to give that report.
Hey, thanks, Mary. It's This report is just housekeeping. In 2013, there was an agreement entered into a memorandum of understanding with Hillside Manor for temporary shelter use of the perk should there be an emergency at Hillside Manor and they need to evacuate the residents, they could use perk. And that has since been purchased by Southbridge Healthcare GP Inc. So when we went to renew our annual renewal with them, it was flagged that we need to update that agreement to make sure we are entering into agreement with the right company now. I can answer any questions if there's any.
Okay, any questions of the report? Seeing no questions, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled Agreement to Provide Temporary Shelter, Southbridge Home Care Inc., Hillside Manor, PRCS-2026-08, CLE-2026-17, dated May 5, 2026, prepared by the Manager of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services and the Manager of Legislative Services / Municipal Clerk for information. And further, that council give 3 readings to bylaw 23-2026, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with CVH number 11 LP by its general partner, Southbridge Care Homes, a limited partnership by its general partner, Southbridge Healthcare GP Inc., Hillside Manor, to provide temporary shelter and repeal bylaw 24-2013. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and the second report is to do with Percon development in Greenwood Park, and Mike is going to give that. We also have Tony with us if you have any questions. So, Mike?
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate that Tony Robb from Percon is here with us as well. The report relates to Greenwood Park and the continued proposed development of that park area. I think it's safe to say that Percon is looking to make a significant impression within the community, and that they see this as an opportunity to make that contribution. The proposed pavilion would basically replace an existing pavilion and includes enhanced access via parking lot that we're going to need to acknowledge anyways, with the soccer fields and dog park already being moved forward on within the Greenwood area. So this is just kind of a next step. And there's also contributions that have been put forward by the Wellington Lions Club in support of the project as well. So I think it's a super positive implication as it relates to Greenwood. We spoke about a severance related to property in that neck of the woods as well. So I think this would become a very well utilized and is a well utilized area from a space standpoint, and the connection to the or further reason that recreation staff and community services staff think this is a good spot for the proposed development. Certainly, we've had conversations with Tony throughout. Did reach out to some of the community groups early on to make sure that they were supportive as well in terms of the proposal, and got positive feedback around that. There is some development happening in the area, so the extension of services happening kind of at the same time make a lot of sense. So there are a lot of things kind of lining up as it relates. Any questions? I can certainly try, and I know Tony's also available if there are questions.
Okay, thank you. With first, with council's permission, I'm not sure if Tony has anything you want to add. No. Okay, so Jeremy.
We had some
I don't know, provide further comment on it. I don't believe it has. Tony?
I sent it to Becky and then I thought she was going to send it around, so I guess I'm not sure.
If Becky did circulate it around, I'm not sure to which groups. I believe it was with the Lions, but I'm not sure if there are other groups who were also.
Yeah, I can't recall the different groups that
Yeah,
were
there
on
was
the
a
table
few
that
people.
night. We met at the Legion. kind of informally maybe. But yeah, if the comments have been received from the other community groups, then this is a great thing for our community, I think. And a nice refurb of that park.
Okay, anyone else? If not, we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Parks, Recreation and Community Services dated May 5th, 2026, entitled Kirkon Development Greenwood Park Proposal for information, and that council accepts the proposal and directs the Manager of Parks, Recreation and Community Services to support Kirkon development with finalization of all necessary engineering, design, and permitting to allow the project to proceed. Moved by Jerry, second by Jeremy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Tony. Okay, next under fire, we have the appointment of the Perth East Fire Department Milverton Station Chief, and Bill, the floor is yours.
The appointment of a new Perth East Fire Department Milverton Station Chief. As council's aware, Chief Reese retired March 31st. Deputy Station Chief Mike Carter has been in the acting position since the 1st of April. We posted for the position, and Mike was the is the recommended candidate for the position. The appointment would be effective today upon the amendment of the bylaw, and there is a 6-month probation period included in the appointment. And I'll gladly answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Questions of the report? No questions. We have a motion that says that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the appointment of the Perth East Fire Department Milverton Station Chief report dated May 5, 2026, prepared by the Manager of Fire Services / Fire Chief for information, and that the Council of the Township of Perth East give 3 readings to bylaw 24-2026, being a bylaw to appoint a Perth East Fire Department Station Chief Milverton Station, and repeal bylaw 11-2022, and that the Council of the Township of Perth East give 3 readings to bylaw 25-2026, being a bylaw to appoint Perth East Fire Department Station Chiefs, and repeal bylaw 13-2023. Do we have a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Bill. Okay, we're moving to correspondence. The first item of correspondence we have is from the County of Perth Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee. They did an accessible audit on our Perth East Recreation Center. Is there anyone that has any questions about any of that, Hugh?
Just is there any line on this?
No.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? If not, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report, Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee, JAAC, Site Audit Feedback Report for 40 Temperate Street, Milverton, Perth East Recreation Complex, dated April 13, 2026, prepared by the Manager of Legislative Services / Perth for Perth County for information. Moved by Jerry, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and our second item of correspondence is from Diane Luckhart, and she's got some concerns about the Seaverville development. Their EA is close to coming out, and it has all the answers, I believe, in it. I'm not sure what council wishes to do with this, other than receive for information. Jeremy?
It will be received by First South. It is a public document though, so anyone will have access to it, including First Council, First Presidents. We are on the record with our position around the items most of the items that have been addressed, and those were captured as part of Okay, but certainly the document itself, we, Perth East Council will not be receiving, approving as submitted, but yeah, we will be able to, I guess is the short answer.
Okay, Amanda?
I think typically, we would receive these items for information, and certainly that can be part of it, but I think it might be helpful to reiterate our position. And EA documents is not something that the average person is gonna know to look up, recognizing that it's not officially out yet, but I would like to see just sort of a response, at least beyond us just receiving it for information, just sort of reiterating our concerns, or not concerns, but reiterating our stance on this, because there seems to be this impression that we can stop things that are happening in another municipality, and we not. And so I think, I think that would be really helpful for this person, because it is a big topic of conversation in the village.
Okay, anyone else? So what do you want the motion to say?
That we receive it for information and provide a response, reiterating Perth East's stance on the issue, and provide guidance on when EA will be, how it will be how it'll be publicly available for them to access. Like, that's not something that we control, but just something along those lines.
Okay, so I'll read this and then tell me what. With Council of the Township of Perth East, receive the correspondence from Diane Luckhart regarding proposed development in Sebronville for information, and that we provide a response from Perth East on our stance on the issue. Okay, so moved by Amanda. Do we have a seconder? Hugh? Any more comments or questions? Jerry?
Sure, I support that more or less, but what is our stance? Like, it's in for South. This is a Perth East resident. Sure, if we can offer that stance.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, Councilor Smith, I would just, based on the resolution, what I would do is probably reaffirm what we submitted to PERSA, which was what we discussed as a council and a staff, basically. And I can quickly go through those points if council wants, or yeah, I can certainly share it with council otherwise. But I think it was more, our primary concern was that any decisions as it relate to servicing of a PERSA development not negatively impact our Perth East residents, and that certainly we, Perth East, was not supportive of any required connection to a municipal's water system, and we did not support any negative financial implications on existing Perth East residents as a result of the proposed subdivision. I think we were quite cautious in terms of recognizing who the approval authority is around this, but also respecting that we did not want to see negative implications or requirements on Perth East residents. I think primarily the concerns that we heard early and are still probably hearing you guys as council was around mandatory connection to a municipal water system or mandatory connection to a municipal wastewater system. Neither of which, from my understanding, are being proposed as part of this now at this point, but I don't think there's any harm if that's what our position is.
Great, yeah, thanks for that explanation. It's a huge file. That's the update.
Okay, anyone else? Not, all in favor? Carried. Okay, now we're going to move on to council and committee reports. The first is my mayor's meeting log. That's where I was for the month of April. Any questions on any of those things? Just maybe April the 28th, the workshop with the mayors and the CAOs, and that was all the mayors and CAOs of Wellington County and Perth County and the wardens as well. We met to in Stratford. Mayor Ritzma led it, and we also had MPP Matthew Ray with us. It was a good opportunity for all of us to discuss the different things that we have going on in our municipalities, and a lot of the concerns we have, we all share. And so out of that, Matthew has booked a day next Thursday, the 14th of May, that we have an opportunity to go to Toronto, and he's going to have the ministers come, and we're going to have an opportunity to sit down with the ministers and talk about some of the things that we discussed that morning. So we discussed like homelessness, and we discussed, what might be there? What else?
Yeah, sure.
There's a long list of things that we talked about.
Yeah, the fiscal relationship between municipalities and the province was one of the topics. Homelessness, housing accessibility, childcare, the requirements and need as it relates to additional childcare spaces within both of North Wellington and Perth County. Those were a couple of the primary conversations. There was some conversation as it relates to struggles that we're all facing working with certain ministries and as it relates to development opportunities. Not to pinpoint any one in particular, but MTO did come up as one of the struggles that all municipalities seem to be facing in terms of getting approvals moving forward with development. So those were the primary items. The CAOs are meeting tomorrow to put together the package as it relates to what will be presented next Thursday, and we anticipate that the mayors will do the speaking of the presentation, but CAOs and staff are working together to put it together in a concise piece. And yeah, we appreciate the Ray's input. It's nice to get direct FaceTime and not just through a delegation out of conferences or maybe a longer allotment for us to have these type of conversations with the ministers. So looking forward to it.
Mike and I are both attending. So, okay, any questions on any of that? Anyone else have any council reports on any of the committees they sit on? No. Okay, so then we just need a motion to accept the mayor's meeting log and the verbal report. I can get moved by Amanda, second by Bob. All in favor? Okay, we're down to bylaws. First and second reading, we have three. We have bylaw 23-2026, a bylaw to authorize the signing of an agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Perth East and CVH by its general partner Southbridge Care Homes, and that was item 8.7.1 tonight. The second one, bylaw 24-2026, a bylaw to appoint the Perth East Fire Department Station Chief, and that was 8.8.1. And a third one, bylaw 25-2026, a bylaw to repeal bylaw 13-2023, and that was also item 8.8.1 tonight. So I need someone to move that, the first and second readings, moved by Amanda, second by Hugh, all in favor, carried. And then we have four for third and final readings, and we have bylaw 23-2026, a bylaw to authorize the signing of the agreement between the Township of Perth East and the general partner Southbridge Care Homes. The second one, bylaw 24-2026, a bylaw to appoint the Perth East Fire Department Station Chief. The third one, bylaw 25-2026, is a bylaw to repeal bylaw 13-2023, and the fourth one is bylaw 222-2024, a bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999. So these are read a third and a final time. Do I need a mover and a seconder? Moved by Jerry, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're down to notice of motions. Is there any notice of motions? Any other business? Announcements? We don't have a closed session, so we're at confirmatory bylaw. So that bylaw 26-2026 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on May 5, 2026. We read it first, second, and third time. Moved by Hughes, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. And the last motion of the night is that the meeting of council be adjourned at 7:38. 7:38. 7:35, okay. Moved by Q, second by Bob, all in favor, carried. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.